You mentioned on your website, aliceseba.com, that you love to write. Do you have a writing routine?
Um, well, maybe not quite of what people expect. Like, I don't know if you mean like, do I get up in the morning and I do this, and do I write during these hours? Well, not so much. But what I think I really do that becomes routine is that I have a plan. So I always plan all my writing in advance on a monthly basis. Then I review everything with that week coming up, and then go through everything daily. So it just makes sure that, I'm on top of the things that I need to do. I think a lot of people, yeah, like I don't have certain hours or anything like that. It's just, I know it's more task based. So that's kind of my routine.
And when you say a plan, do you mean an editorial calendar of some sort?
I think so. I don't actually 100% know what people consider an editorial calendar to include, but I think so. Yeah, I mean, it'll say the topics I'm going to do. It kind of combines my email marketing with my blogging and all different stuff together. And also whether I'm going to outsource that stuff, I'm going to write it myself, and all those things. So I would say so. That's probably what it is, but I just never call it that.
Okay, so you don't always write at the same time every day. Do you always write in the same place?
Not necessarily. I do, I'm in my office right now, and that's where I usually am to do work. But I do like to move around. Like if I'm in a different kind of mood, like, I've been home, my husband's been sick, and I have to go out for get a vaccination, but I'm gonna head out and get out to a coffee shop or a restaurant or something just to get a change of pace. Or if I'm feeling kind of tired, but I find that if I lie, take it to the couch and hopefully not fall asleep, but just do something just a little bit different where it's kind of not working for me here, and move around a little bit.
Yeah, what I love about writing is we can actually lay down and still do it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And that's when I usually use my phone, right? Instead of the computer where I do most of my writing, and I'm most comfortable writing on a computer. But if I'm going to do it kind of more relaxed, or maybe in the car waiting for my kids or something, on my phone is where, I write out a lot of my stuff.
So speaking of, I also wanted to ask you, what do you use to write? Meaning what equipment and what software?
Okay. Mostly I use the software that I'm going to publish with. So if that's the blogging, I will do it right in WordPress. Unless I'm on the road or something, or on the couch possibly, and I'm using my phone, I will just use the notes feature of my iPhone. I've tried other apps like note-taking apps and things like that, and I don't enjoy them. I like the basic app that comes with the phone. And then on my computer, if I'm doing an email, I'll do it right in the autoresponder rather than, get a document editor or anything like that, and just make sure I should keep backups sometimes too, but I find that I was doing it onto files first and then putting it in, but I found that it kind of ruined my flow. I like the feeling. It's kind of strange and I can't really explain, but maybe some writers will know what I mean, that if I'm doing things into documents, it doesn't feel as real, like I'm talking directly to people. I feel different when I'm doing it right in my WordPress dashboard, and then I publish it right away. I do schedule some things ahead of time, but I still like to do it all kind of live, doing it there and sending it out right then, and getting it done that way. It feels more real, and I feel like I could kind of create a story for my audience where, one thing I do flows into the next, and it just works for me that way.
It's interesting you pointed out that you feel, I guess it's easier for you to actually connect with your audience when you're already on the platform,
Yeah.
where you'll be publishing your writing.
Yeah.
And do you ever experience writer's block?
I don't. I'm sure I do, but I don't really. I guess I don't believe in it really, because I think, there's times where I just don't feel like doing something or whatever, and then I will just simply walk away and come back later. That's fine. But I find that because I plan ahead so much and I already know what I'm going to do, because I think that's where a lot of the trouble comes, is that people they go to sit at their computer and they're like, okay, so I need to write now, or I need to write so many words, and I never ever count words. But they'll sit and they think, I have to do this, I have to force myself to do this, and then they don't know what to do. But if you've already got that plan, then it's easier to do. And also, I don't write all my content. I hire writers, I use private label rights content. I'll have guest writers, and Lexi, you've been a guest writer on my site before. And now that site is no longer in existence, but it was great to have that, give different perspectives to our audience, and it just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. Now, when you're doing your plan, your content plan, where do you get ideas for, what are you going to talk about on this specific date?
Well, I am a person who, I'm a writer, but I'm also a business owner, so I'm here to sell products. So I often combine both. I think about what product I might be creating or what product I might want to promote as an affiliate, and I shape content around that. So if I'm going to promote a product about, I don't know, low carb cooking or something like that, for example, I would start talking about that subject. I would come up with ideas of recipes or techniques, or, link to other posts that other people have done and make my own commentary on it. And I would sit down and come up with all the topics around it that would warm my audience up to buying that product. So I think, that's a great way to generate topic ideas when you don't know what to write about. Think about a product that your customers would want to have and what kind of information they need in order to be able to say yes to purchasing that product. And I look at other blogs, I look at videos, I, go through social media and stuff. I follow always, if it's a certain topic that I'm covering, I always have a specific, Twitter account for that or Facebook page, and I follow just those related content. I don't follow everybody. I follow accounts that are related to what I need to know, so I can just go easily. I mean, you can make lists too if you don't want to do it, if you want to follow all kinds of people. But it just means that it's very focused. I can scroll through it, find ideas, and work from there.
Do you listen to music while you're writing? Does it help, or do you need silence?
I do both. And I usually listen to music while I work, and then sometimes I don't, and then I feel a little off, and then I realize that maybe I just need to do that. But I could, both ways work for me. I enjoy music. Music is one of my most favorite things in the world. I'm always making songs in my head, and like that. It's just, I think that's part of the writer in me. So I do enjoy having music. And it's always in headphones. I prefer that. I don't know why. Straight into my brain.
Yeah. Any specific type of music that you find helpful?
I don't know that it's... I can't say that. I listen... I have a variety of tastes. And I don't know that, certain types of music help more than others. I think people think it's very strange that I particularly like rap music. But I don't know that type of music is making me write better. It's just comfort. It's something that I enjoy. I always like to have music. If I'm cooking, I turn on the radio in the kitchen. It's something that's part of me that I like to have.
It's so funny how different people find really a variety of things that work for them. And how long does it usually take you to write a blog post?
It would depend how much. Because, sometimes a blog post is just a few thoughts and they come out and that comes out quickly. Sometimes it's much more detailed and I want to add lots of research to it. I want to add images and stuff. But if I knew, it's been a long time since I would have timed myself. But 450 words, I think, if I knew what I was going to write about and I didn't have to do all those extra things, I'm sure I could have that done in 15 minutes, I would think.
And you mentioned earlier outsourcing. Mm-hmm. What parts of writing do you usually outsource?
A lot of, report writing and blog post writing, emails I have written. Sometimes it's just research and, I need some background or I need some quotes or I need statistics or something like that. Just anything like, I was talking about those more complicated posts where I want to have like that research and data and things like more proof and stuff. I'll often get help with that because that kind of slows me down and makes it harder to get it put together. But if I already have that available to me, it's easier to put that together.
Yeah, the non-creative stuff, in other words.
Yeah.
Easily outsource. And when you write a blog post, what's your favorite type of blog posts to write? Do you like writing list posts, how-to posts? Is there a favorite?
I think my favorite is when I get to tell stories and really share an opinion as opposed to teaching something or making lists and stuff. List posts are easy, so those you could always resort to doing those when you don't feel like it. But ones that really share more depth, and whether it's sharing a piece of me or me kind of tapping into my audience's feelings, that I think I'm very good at understanding what my audience struggles with, what they need help with, and I love to be able to help them discover that and pull that out and help them take some steps to improve themselves.
And what are your tips for writing that kind of a post? It's a more of a storytelling post.
Yeah. Well, if it's stories about yourself, a lot of people like to tell stories and you'll see it, sometimes in email marketing and that people will say something about what they did that day, but they don't connect it to what they're writing about. So you want to think about, like, as you go through your life, like I always think of like stories that, they connect with what I'm talking about. They might illustrate a problem I had, or they might teach a lesson or something like that. Maybe, because I write about business topics. Maybe I'm in a store and I have a bad experience or I have a good experience or something like that. Then I can use that story to illustrate a sales point or something like that. And also, if it's a funny story, make them laugh and kind of bring all those things in together. So and also, like, if I'm trying to connect with the emotions and try to really understand, is that I think a lot of people think they understand their audience, but they don't take the time. I observe my audience a lot. I watch what they say and like Facebook groups and on social media in the olden days and message boards and stuff like that. And comments that they leave on other people's blogs and my own or whatever it happens to be. But really starting to understand that if they reply to your emails, see what they're saying to you, and you can get a really good idea of who they are, and always trying to figure that out. They have, I don't know if you cover it all, but having a customer avatar or something like that, where you kind of know all the details about who they are, whether their demographics, like they're female and they have children or they're about this age or whatever, but also going deeper on kind of what they believe in, what they're afraid of, what they really want, and what their dreams are, and even like websites that they prefer, like getting really deep and figuring out exactly who they are, so that when you're writing, you feel like you're writing to one person. And I think that's the biggest compliment I ever get, is when people tell me I've written something and then they're like, wow, that's like you wrote it just for me. And I'm like, well, I was thinking of, maybe not you specifically, but I was thinking of someone just like you. I was thinking of one person and writing to that person.
That's wonderful. Do you have any other advice for like somebody who's just starting with blogging?
Sure. I think a lot of people, they think, okay, you can make lots of money with blogging. And so they set up something that they're interested in. And I think being interested in what you're blogging about is very important, unless you're going to outsource it all. And even then, if you don't have an interest in the topic, it's hard to come up with something. But before you start, figure out if it's going to be a profitable idea. Sure, you could build up a blog with a huge audience and you could put ads on it and you'll make some money that way. But if you go into a topic area or you don't have products to promote, whether they're yours or as an affiliate, it's going to be tough, and figuring that part out later is harder. So really do your research before you start and have a plan to monetize your blog, unless you're just doing it for fun. And if that's the case, then enjoy. but also growing your list, your mailing list. A lot of people blog and they just rely on that RSS feed, but your mailing list is goes hand in hand. You know, your blog builds those relationships, as does your email, but you want them onto that list because you can keep in contact with them. And email is such a commercial medium, right? People expect that you will sell them products through that. If you're trying to sell on your blog, you might run into a little more difficulty. Doesn't mean you can't, because you can still tell stories about products you're using and promote that way. But when you've got email to back it up and an audience that you can bring back to your blog at any time, it'll be so much more powerful.
Spoken like a true online marketer. Well, those are my questions for you, Alice.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. I loved having this chat with you and seeing you again.
Yes.
After such a long time.
You know, thinking about that too, maybe one more tip is build relationships. Like, I've known you for forever, Lexi, and you know, you've helped me out in my business, and I'm glad that I could do this little interview with you. But you know, keep building those. People try to kind of live in a bubble, and then they want, you know, help promoting a product, or they want growing their to grow their traffic to their blog. But if you don't know anybody, that's harder. Friends always help out friends. So the more friends you can make out there in, you know, whether they're bloggers or just product sellers in your niche, the easier your job's going to be.